Dear students, this time we are going to discuss about the entire 5 units overview of protection switch gear. And so, in the second and third week of the month of March, we already discussed the entire 5 unit oriented revision, and now I gave one more revision about the entire 5 units. So from the first unit, protection schemes. First of before we discuss about this, we need to know about the power system. Then only we are going to discuss about the what are the protection schemes are available, how we can protect the power system. So now we are going to need about the entire setup of the power system. Power system in the sense we need produce by using of generation. We already well known about the generator concept in the previous semesters. Generators are used, that means the energy conversion, the mechanical energy converted into electrical energy. We have to do varieties of input energy, and the output is common, that one is the electrical energy from the generating station. The actual generation of power supply may step up by using the step transformer, because of the distance of means the number of kilometers of distance are there to transmit power supply to the destination consumers. So uh, after in the generating stage, we need to protect our generators also, because of power supply variation or fault may occur. There are varieties of reasons are there. Even arc type of errors are having a possibility to affect the entire setup, like bus bars and all. Once we are generating the power supply, then we need to step up the voltage, and means step up the entire power supply, and then uh, uh, through that bus bar and transmission line, we need to transmit that power supply into the number of kilometers. And we have depends upon the situation and the distance based, we need to have some substations. In that stage, we need to step down process, and in that substation we need to distribute the power supply into the consumers. Maybe the consumers are here, homes, or school, college, and maybe a small scale of company, maybe large scale of companies are there. So depends upon the usage base, we need to give the power supply to the needed places. In that time, we need to step down the supply and given to the needed sources, needed areas. In that concept, in every stage of this power supply generation to the distribution, we need to protect every set of systems, from the bus bar and transmission line, and that transformers, maybe a current transformer or voltage transformer. We need to protect everything. And basically, actually this is the setup for very sample one of this one. Initially the bus bar will actually the supply may be transmitted through that. Here one current transformer is connected. When the fault will occur, this current transformer current value may vary. Because of that, thus vary will indicate to that to energize the relay coil, and because of that, this will activate the trip coil, and that trip coil will enable the circuit breaker. Circuit breaker is it just used to break the entire circuit. Maybe it's used in various category. Because of the usage based, the circuit breakers are available. Maybe generator oriented, or bus bar oriented, or transmission line oriented. There are varieties of circuit breakers that we are going to discuss these everything in the types of circuit breakers in the fifth unit. this is an actual concept we are going to study in this subject. And one more important question of this first unit is these essential qualities. These are the essential qualities. We already well known about this: reliability, selectivity, and speed, and time sensitivity, stability. Because of the usage, the cost effectiveness is needed, and the reliability, we need to use that particular setup, like that entire trip, that means circuit breaker relay based on that particular setup is need to accept that, that means size of the setup, and stability and sensitivity are needed. That particular setup need to sense the even a small amount, that means the error value maybe in the very small range. We need to in our particular protection setup need to sense that type of error also. And simplicity and economy is very much important. If you need to give that means this setup may have a possible to get busted or affected because of the error, because the fault. So the cost may be very less. That's very important thing. And faults may occur because of the some of the points, because of weather condition and equipment failures in the sense, maybe a generator transformer because of the number of years may used, and some other, I mean, power supply variation and human errors, smoke of fires, and these are the possible causes of the faults. And fault statistics, like three-phase faults, line to line ground fault, line to ground fault. Majorly the line to ground faults are only occurred, that means the percentage of occurrence. These are the possible fault. And next one is types of faults. Types of faults in the sense symmetrical and symmetrical faults. And we already will discuss about the symmetrical, because the occurrence rate and several types of fault. What are the severity of the fault, and the current fault current is in maximum. These are the symmetrical fault. And unsymmetrical faults wise, we discuss about the circuit oriented based, like line to ground fault based issues, and line to line fault based issues, line to line to ground fault based issues. We already discussed this everything. And you also draw these things in your notes also, so refer that one. Actually, next one is methods of neutral grounding. Here we need to actually, the grounding is very much important because of the fault type, because of occurring the fault. The the voltage will grounded, and to protect the entire setup. So the first one is ungrounded system. This major one is here we connect the capacitance to each and every line, and the normal operating condition, this distribution current through the capacitance, and this will be maintained, and the result is the base current, and this is the line to line neutral voltage from the ground. In case of fault occurs, here the ground fault may possible, and the voltage, the acceptable voltage is nearly 1.73 times from the normal voltage percentage, and more than that, the entire setup may get damaged. And here the solid ground, solid ground in the sense when we have to ground the neutral connection into the ground, and this is the initial stage we generally used. This one, next one is resistance earthing. We use some resistor through that particular grounding connection. We replace that resistance into the reactance. This is a major difference from that resistance thing to reactance thing. Then one is resonant thing. Here we can adjust that the reactance level. This is the major difference of this, and we already well known about these concepts. And here it is the various protective zones. Various protection in the every dotted boxes are the separate zone. Maybe the first one is generator protection, and the bus bar protection, and transformer, maybe a step down or step up type of transformer protection. And these are the various zones, selective zones. Maybe two or more individual zones may connect as a one longs then one lengthiest zone we need to protect. So these are the selective areas, and this is one of the important 8 mark frequently asked in the past university exams. Here we need to protect the primary and backup type of protection. Primary protection in the sense the current voltage supply to the relay, that is, we have varieties of relays, but we need to protect the current and voltage supply through that relay. In case of fault occurrence, the that relay will indicate to the circuit breaker. Circuit breaker will disconnect the entire supply. Then direct current tripping voltage supply, protective relays. There are varieties of protective relays are there. Tripping circuits, circuit breakers. Trippers and circuit breakers both are same, but the utilization based some variations are there, and some of the backup protections are needed to use in case of the main circuit. That means main setup of the protection system may get a fault or getting error. The backup protection will save the entire setup. Here some of the protection schemes are there, and as soon as overcurrent protection, distance protection, carry current protection, differential protection. And in the overcurrent protection, the actual power supply will compare to the maybe may exceed from the actual rating, that means the possible rating. Then that overload may occur. Because of at that time that particular protection process may occur. And next one is carry distance protection. Distance protection, since the that through that transmission line, because of the distance we need to protect with some distance or in the long distance itself. Because of that, in case of fault occur through that line, that particular this the relays, the connected relay may indicate to the circuit breaker, and the remaining protection process may followed up. And this one is carrier current protection. The this carrier current protection, this is the mainly used protection of the long transmission line. Here the actual phases may compare to the line, and in case of variation may occur, this that particular protection setup may is the comparator. We need to use some comparer. Here the actual power supply given from the source end, and with some distance we need to take that samples of the power supply range, and compare both both the one. And in case of variation may occur, that this that means this relay will indicate to that circuit breaker. Circuit will disconnect the entire supply. Next one is unit number 2, electromagnetic relays. And electromagnetic relays, we have varieties of relays are there. And actually the operating principle of the relays is pick up level of actuating signal, reset level, operating time of relay. Because this is very much important. Operating time, the relay will respond very quickly. The quick response is very much needed. Because of the quick response only indicate that error into the circuit breaker, and then only the circuit breaker also need some quick response. So the response level, we need equal time of response needed in that entire setup. And reset timing, and reach to delay, these are the thing we need to discuss. And this is the thing we already discussed. Here this is the setup we already discussed. and this is a type of circuit breaker, and through that the bus bar, in case of any fault may occur, the current level may vary. Because of that, this will indicate to that particular relay, and then particular relay enable the trip circuit, and this one will disconnect the connection by using circuit breaker. These are all the types of relays: attraction, armature type relay, solenoid type relay, balanced beam type relay, moving coil type relay, and polarized moving iron type relay. In every one of these concepts, and the fault may occur at that time, the this particular coil may energized. In case of fault occur, the variation of the current, this coil may energized at the time. This will attract that particular trip circuit, and to enable the to disconnect the that particular entire setup. These are all the types and diagrams. And this is a normal distance based protection, and here the that means the impedance relay. Here the selective zone may protect by using this type of relay. Here one circuit breaker is there. In case of the protection, transformer may energize because of because of the normal supply, the normal regular power supply may transmit through this through that particular transmission line from generating station to the distribution station. In case of fault may occur, that particular current transfer may energize, and that will energize the tripper coil. Before that, that protection transformer will energized, and at the time of fault occur, the transmission coil may energized, and will enable that particular tripper. That one will enable the circuit breaker. And here it is the Moore relay, and this one is having the motor type based, but this motor will rotate the angle variation. Actually, the here the operating coil and restraining coil is there. With at the time of that means not under the normal condition, the entire that means the particular rotating portion angle will away from the that particular tripper circuit. When the fault may occur, that particular point of the rotating portion may touch to the, that means in the clockwise, and touch to that particular tripper, and tripper will enable the circuit breaker. And here some types of relays are there: current differential relay, Morse price protection differential relay, and voltage balance differential relay. Here the current differential relays are there are two current transformer 1 and 2, and in case of difference under the normal condition, nothing may happen, but in case of different from, there are two current transformer there. The both the current transformers are compared every seconds, and in case of variation may occur, at the time the tripper may enable. This is the continuous, and the next one is Morse price. Morse price also having one more induction level. This is also the concept wise, this is the same compared to the previous one. Two types of current transformer, variation of current may enable that particular protection setup. The next unit is static relay and numerical relay. Here static relays are normally electric operated switch, and this one is having no moving parts of static relays, and is normally constructed wise these electromechanical type relay. And from this type of relay, the components wise, the that means the operation time operation time waste, and compared to that normal relays, static relays response, that means a quick response, and will get cost wise minimum, and the power supply also getting very less. Here we used some comparators there. Normal power supply will frequently compare to the entire setup. That means that feedback or feedback based, or the rectifier oriented based comparison is there, and because of that we can easily compare the actual power supply to the expected power supply. In case of variation because of the fault, the this will indicate to that circuit breaker. And numeric relays are programmable relays. Every individual point of the process are getting are programmed, pre-programmed, and this is the black diagram. Here the vertices of transformer, because of the comparison, and every one will, that means the ADC converter, ROM RAM type of this normal CPU oriented, I mean the main microcontroller based, that digital based process is available. The accuracy is very high in this type of circuit breakers compared to the previous one. Depending upon the situation based, this type of circuit breakers are used, and cost wise somewhat higher, but the sensitivity, that the fault sensitivity and the accuracy are very high. And here the last unit, circuit breakers. Here we have to discuss about varieties of circuit breakers: air blast, air brake, oil, and SF6 and vacuum circuit breakers are there. And there are so many circuit breakers are there. Before we need to know about we are going to discuss about the circuit breaker concept. We must need to know about the arc concept. Arc in the sense, from one from the generating station to the transmission line, the actual the connection the actual connection will transmit the power supply. At the time of disconnecting that particular bus bar, between that air, the current flow may continue in the through that arc. This arc is a type of one of the spark, like even this will make heat. A continuous or continuity of arc may damage the entire setup of that bus bar. And here we are going to discuss about some of the arc interruption, because we need to split up the arc. Here the two bars are there, and in between the two bars arc may have possible. We have to give high force air, or some other way to divide, that means to reduce that particular arc. And this is a normal AC circuit breaker based arc. Yeah, here the restriking voltage and recovery voltage are arc. Restriking in the sense, continuously we strike to that particular arc through the external power source. This continuous strike will reduce that particular arc density. Then easily that particular arc may solve within a time. The next one is okay. Next one is the current chopping. Current chopping in the sense, the continuous flow, that means by using inductance, capacitance, and the elective capacitance concept. The actual power selective power supply may stored here. In case the fault may occur at the time that this particular recovery voltage, that means the stored recovery voltage will chop that particular arc current, and automatically the coil and density of arc may reduced, and that particular arc will get solved. And here some of the types of circuit breaker. First one is air blast, air type of circuit breakers. And here the air reserve, from the air reservoir, the air valve will give some maximum amount of forced air to that particular arc. At the time that arc may reduced, and here cross blast or air breaker, air circuit breaker, and sorry, air breaker. This one will split that arc into various platforms, so there's various areas. Here air break, here one of the air brake circuit breaker, what we explained, and we already well known about this. All is the same thing. And this one is oil circuit breaker. Here we have to use oil. The surrounded oil may arrest that arc within a minimum of time. There's even that cooler type of oil may used in this time. And here also we used oil type of circuit breaker. And this is a low oil circuit breaker. Here the fixed and moving contacts are there. When the moving contact will relieve, at the time the arc may possible to occur. At the time the oil concept may reduce that arc and solve the arc within a time. The next one is SF6. I mean sulfur hexafluoride gas is used to solve the diagram. This is a normal diagram. I already discussed this everything. This is the next one, the vacuum circuit breaker. Here the vacuum chamber is there. When we disconnect the two bars, at the time the arc may occur, and that particular vacuum will arrest the circuit. That means the that arc within a time. And I already gave you the all university questions, the expected university questions, and already given to you all. And so all of you go through that university questions, and I will give this PDF file to your WhatsApp group, and utilize this everything and study well. Thank you.